Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
You see that there's an email address and there is a new account ID created. Okay, although I did not, which is going to bill and then different account IDs. Sorry, I lost you in between. What was the question? Okay, is I'm audible?
Yes.
Okay, someone asked a question and I was not able to hear you guys. Who has asked the question?
There is no question. Nobody asked.
Okay. All right. Okay. So right, so this is how you organize the things. But let's suppose you wanted to restrict any of the account, when you have the accounts over here, you want to restrict them. By default, as you saw that when we were adding the accounts, you saw that um, by default your account is being added, and those accounts will be a those accounts will be a part of the master account, right? Those account are these account ID will be a part of the master account. And when we were adding the account, it automatically created a role named as organization IAM, organization account access role, which gives a complete full access of the IAM user, right? So right so
So, Vasant,
so
sorry to
the
interrupt. There
yeah.
is a star, right? There is a star. Just left to the Vasant Singh, your name. So, which indicates that's the root account or something.
Yes, exactly. That's the management account that indicates that. Right, so we have the organization. We create organization units, we associate accounts to the organization units, and all this can be automated, right? The time when you were doing a cloud or creating a cloud labs, Monica did told you that create your account, register yourself first. So these things, like whenever you do the registration, your email address being noticed, and then this account ID will be generated automatically. And she told you that it's going to take 2 to 3 minutes to provision your account. That 2 to 3 minutes is because it's going to create a new account and it's going to associate it with a specific uh, business unit or specific OU, you can say organized unit. So um, the master account ID could vary, and organization unit is a part of master account ID, but most of the time people don't do so. But there is a chance that they can create a different different organization, and within the different organization unit they associate different accounts. Okay, so that they know that all this traffic is on all the payment of this organization unit. Let's say if I will go for the billing, I would see that this organization unit over here has cost me this much amount. Okay, so we create organization unit, and to restrict, let's say I don't want production team to create any S3 bucket. Okay, such type of stuff I will do it when we'll go to service, and we will go and create a service control policy. So service control policy is going to restrict on the top of your particular organization unit, particular or root account, that this is the organization unit which is not allowed to. So basically a deny type of things which you wanted to perform on the particular organization unit, then you use a service control policy. Okay, let me go back. Where's that? So it's quite dating. Let's just go to IAM. Again, organization, all the IAM actions which you perform is gonna be global, right? So actually charge you a bit. So I'm a bit scared of that. Let me delete the, okay, okay, so it's gonna charge you on this. So if you're following me along and you're the root account user, make sure that you delete it once after your use, okay? It's an IAM, give me an IAM. Okay, let me just go back to my console. Okay, on the face of IAM. So whenever you want to practice it all around, do on the accounts which has been created on Cloud Labs, right? Don't do much on your own root accounts because that will charge you a bit on the account. So make sure that you don't use your root accounts. Use the lab accounts if you really want to practice on the services, users, roles, and the policies. Okay, hold on. It's taking too long. Okay. So over here, there's an organization activity. If you wanted to track down your organization activity, you can load the complete, structure, what has been gone and how many, what's been done and what not to be done. And one production account, what was the production account, what should be the root account, and also that you wanted to track a keep on that, you can have an organization activity. Then there is a service control policy. You see that full access, AWS access has been given. You can add it in the AWS organization. Okay, and then uh, you can align a specific deny for the services which you don't want the people to work on. Okay, you don't want them to work on S3 services, deny it over here. So if it's denied on the top of SCP, even if a person has an access of an AWS account, and in the IAM roles, if you saw that Raksha has a complete access of IAM and the policy, she can edit the policy. So if she wants, she can remove the condition. She wants, she can do the changes, right? So that IAM restrictions, you can give it from here, right? You can add statement, you can deny. I don't want them to allow on everything, right? I can deny them for a specific actions. Okay, so if you have allow and you have a deny on the resource, let's say S3, and all the actions has to be denied on the resource, we wanted to say S3, then the particular person who comes under that organization unit will not be able to perform that particular deny, or whatever you have denied, those actions will not be performed. So basically, when we create an organization unit, we deny people to add the policies which has been attached to their own account, right? So that we do by writing the statements over here. If you're not very good at JSON, it will come with a, if you are good with the writing a JSON, you can write it down, or if you're not good with that, you can select the service from here. I don't want IAM, okay, and then filter the services and what actions you don't want them to be able to do, that you can deny from here, and then add resource, add any conditions, and so on. Okay, so basically you deny to explicitly deny actions include statement with the format effect deny, and only deny statements can include resources and conditions, right? So SCP is that. For by default, it comes and give you the access of full AWS when your organization unit has been created. Okay, so we'll go back, and as I know the organization.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Is gonna cost me, so I just want to delete my organization. I don't want that to be the part of it. So remove account, yes, remove it. Okay. Because we didn't verify it on this, that's why it says that it's not been verified, so you cannot delete that part. I wanted to, okay, I'll do that. So you see that I have an organization unit now. Okay, that is what the organization unit looks like. If I want to delete an organization, I can click on delete organization, and ideally should delete. Okay, that I have to remove the members, and to remove it, I have to verify them. This is quite irritating. You see that I have a welcome Amazon message. Free tier, and then thank you joining. Welcome you creating free tier page to access your account. Click access account. Right. Right. So this is what has happened when your lab has been provisioned. Behind the scene, they activated the account, right? And you see that over here. And now I don't want that to be the part of. So I want to remove this organization. So remove account. Ideally, it should removed. Okay, let it be. I'll remove it later on. Okay, so if we go back and see the IAM, okay, if we see, so I hope organization activity, service control policy, users, policies, it's been pretty much clear. If you have questions on this, policies, users, service control policies, organization activity, you can ask me a question if you have any. The silence in the crowd stands for no questions. Then we have two more things which is very important. One is called role and the other is identity providers. We'll talk about roles first. Share my screen again.
Vasan, sorry to interrupt. Can you explain a little bit about permission boundaries?
Sorry, what about?
Permission boundaries.
Permission boundaries. So we did talk about permission boundaries, and in permission boundaries, I give you, you can provide, a little bit of permissions. That permission boundaries is basically you can say that, okay, these are the this is what I don't want, or I can, on your identity, you don't want to grant to an, when you set a permission, you to perform only the actions that are allowed to specific identity based policies, that you do it on the permission boundaries. Let's say, you put a deny. Okay, so you have a policy where you put a deny in any of the sections, as saying that, okay, this is, on the policies, I have an access saying that, okay, let's say if I have a policy and I have a Sony demo lab policy, and I'm on the policy, I'm saying that, hey, I'm allowing, um, S3 buckets to be created from this particular policies, and then on the permission boundary, you give, deny for some of the resources. So basically, permission boundary gives you the alignment. Okay, it's a, how can I explain? Okay, let me just draw it somewhere. Okay, so it's just like, permission boundary. Let's say,
I mean,
let's say
so
this
what I
is,
want to understand is, let's say I created a policy whereas I have given permission to the user of creating S3 bucket. Okay. So
Mhm.
I mean, and later part in the permission boundary, setting it up, this resource. For example, S3 bucket resource, nobody should create a new S3 bucket. Okay, so which will override the policy which they have created.
Yes, that's what like if you have it on first saying that it's been allowed, and on the permission boundary you denied it, then definitely your deny will override the allow.
So the permission boundary is it's a super rights, which overrides any user rights created on the the policies, user policy.
Mm, Let me think your statement again. Can you come back? What's the statement you said?
So user policy is the first level, privilege I have assigned to one of the user. Okay. So whereas he can
Mm-hmm.
create S3 bucket.
Mm-hmm. Or
Okay.
let me
So
just simplify this. Let me just simplify this. If you want to make your roles and users to be into you know to not go over privilege, like you want your IAM users and roles to be restricted to specific actions on on specific resources, so that the to prevent a privilege escalation on the latest stages, then you create a permission boundaries. Does it make sense?
yeah, I'm thinking about it. uh,
Okay.
do you have any examples which you can show them in the lab itself? Do you have any real
Yes.
example?
Yes, I have an example. So for example, assume that the IAM user, let's say Kanan, okay, should be allowed to manage only S3, CloudWatch, and EC2. These are the three services.
Okay.
Okay. So this
Okay.
rule you can create a policy. Let me create a policy for you. So if I have to create this policy will look like you will have a version. Okay, you will have a version. Okay, and then there's a version. Then sorry, then you will have statement. Okay, on the statement you will have the set of effect is allowed. Action is S3, CloudWatch, EC2, and on resources you will say star. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
So when you say
So
resource, what do you mean? I mean, resource is nothing but instance, right? I mean,
resource, yeah, resource means, see, there are in the statement there are three things. One is effect. First is effect. Okay, that can be allow or denied.
okay,
It is a case sensitive, so it will be effect will be either allow,
allow,
sorry, allow
allow or
or
deny.
deny. Okay, so
Okay.
that means it's a deny or it's allowed.
Okay.
All right. Then you have actions. Actions means what actions being is going to be performed. Okay, so then there is an action. Action will be the list of action you're going to perform it against the resources. So if you say S3 colon star, that means your S3 is having you are saying that this particular policy, if it's attached, then a particular person who is using this policy will be able to perform all the actions on S3.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay.
Okay, does this make sense? So
Yeah.
action is that. So if even you click, you keep giving the you know access to the resources. So S3 all actions, let's say EC2, that's other service, and all actions again. Okay, so these are the actions you are going to perform. Then there is a resource. What is a resource? Resource basically talks about, as of now in the morning we saw that I created a bucket named as Sony Demo Day 1, right? Buckets, this is a resource which we created. In S3 we could have multiple buckets. We could have Sony Day 1, Sony Day 2, Sony Day 3, Sony Day 4. We could have 4 buckets. All right, now you want all your actions to be performed. S3 actions will be performed, but are you going to restrict that to specifically to Sony bucket 1, or you're going to say that it's a star? Star means all the buckets. Okay, so all the buckets, all the actions is going to be performed. Resources is, you can think of, is a resource, right? You created a bucket, that is a resource. You created a
Add that.
virtual machine, that is a resource, right? So that is a resource. So on a resource, you said that you have all the access on all that. On your policy, you have written this is a identity based policy or custom. In an identity base, you have a manage, and in a manage, you have a custom based policy, and in a custom based policy, you have this policy mentioned that all the actions on all the resources, and that too related to the service called EC2 or EC2 and S3. Okay, now if I attach this policy to anyone saying allow, that means this particular user is able to perform all the actions of S3 and EC2 on all the resources.
Okay.
Okay, so when we use a policy to set, so now the question is, when we use a set or when we use a policy to set the permission boundary for a user, right? And as I said, when we wanted to limit the user permission, but does not provide permission on its own. Okay, that's a complicated statement. So let's see that. Okay, from the same example, let's see that. So the policy over here sets the maximum permission on S3 and EC2, which you can see. So the particular person who have an access of can perform any operations in any other services, in all the services on S3 and EC2. Okay, so if I wanted to if I wanted to make sure that the particular person should not be able to do anything, like this particular person is able to create buckets, S3 can create, sorry, he can do actions on EC2, but I want him to deny for the actions of IAM roles to be performed, like this particular role user cannot create or cannot create an IAM user. So what I can do in that case is, I can, in a permission boundary, I can write that this is a policy which will be there for the accessibility of the resources S3 and EC2. But if in case I have a policy already attached to a user, where there is a policy which is where there is a permission boundary which is attached, and inside the permission boundary it is written that the particular person cannot create a user. Okay, right? He cannot create a user. So if that permission boundary is there, then what will happen? This particular permission boundary will deny the user to create another user. Like for example, okay, so this is while you are attaching the policy, you created a policy and you wanted to attach it to a user. Okay, so the policy has been attached either to a user or it will be attached to a role. Okay, so what is when we do a permission boundary, if in this particular case you have a policy and you have attached it to, let's say for example, let's say you have attached it um, with one of the users saying this is user one. Okay, so in this user one you have attached this policy. Okay, and in the policy when you go to a usage, you went to that, and sorry, and in the policy usage you created one permission boundary. Okay, and in the permission boundary you have written that um, this particular over here actions which has been given in the permission boundary, you have written that S3 create bucket will not be a part of this. Okay, so when you say create bucket will be denied, like there will be similar, there will be similar policy. You will write a policy like similar way, but same actions you will write, but you will write that instead of effect you will write deny, and in the action you will write S3 colon create bucket. So that means in a permission boundary it has been set that the particular person can do anything in S3, but he cannot create a bucket.
Okay, so this will be applicable. The permission boundary will be applicable to the existing user or the new user.
Whoever is attached with that particular policy.
Okay, so the permission boundary will be attached to the the user policy, not
Yes,
to the user.
it's yes, it's not on identity-based policy. It's on the yeah. You can say that it's basically on the identity-based policy where because you see that permission boundary option that comes out when you select the policy, not the user. Okay,
So where can we see it in the base, IAM console?
sorry.
The, the dashboard in the IAM. I mean, sorry, in the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so you want to see that? You just
yeah.
go to policies. Select any of the policies.
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
It's still loading. So you click on policy usage. There you will see a permission boundary. It's still loading for me. If you are having an access to console, you can see that in the policy usage. Yeah. So Sony and policy usage. Here's the permission boundary. Site boundary. Okay. Right. You see the statement on the top. The permission boundary can restrict the permission currently allowed for this entity. Right? It's an advanced feature.
Okay.
Can you see it on the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have already permission set, then you can have this advanced feature in order to restrict that.
Okay. Thanks, Vasan.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so hold on. All right, so we talked about policies, roles, users. Okay, so groups, as you know, you might have worked on the operations department and you know what groups can do. You can create groups, and in the groups you can associate users. Let's say I have three of the groups has been created. So if I talk to administrator, I don't have users into it, but I have a policy attached. Okay, so you have to attach a user to the group. So click on add users to group. Here you can attach a user to the group. Okay, so groups are like, for example, you wanted to give a set of users a similar permission. Then you attach your policy to the group, right? And then attach your users to the group. Okay, so users, groups, policies, organization activity, service control policy. Then there is a very important term called roles. Okay, so roles are very important, and these play a very important role when we talked or we discuss about um, the role creations, role working, and other stuff. So now the thing is over here, if you see that there's a users and there are roles, and there are users and roles and groups. So what sense does it makes, right? Um, we do have users, we do have roles. So what do you think? What roles are for? Are this kind of authorization or you know role-based access control, or they are going to provide authorization, or what? What do you think? What the roles are in AWS? Just your thoughts. Just want to know your thoughts on this. Anything you can talk about? Anyone from the crowd want to explain what is when it comes to the talk of roles? What is your thought onto that?
So my understanding is when you say roles, I mean it's a different kind of a privilege we are giving to the resources or to the user.
Hmm. Okay. Let me talk it to a very
And
simple term on this. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it is a limit. It is a limitation for the services. So some people need to be have a upload for the buckets. If you take example of buckets, so some people need to be upload, like a developer need to upload the content, website content, so they need to have upload option. So we can restrict the we can create a role for that service, and we can create that. And has a security perspective, he don't need any upload option, upload one or any other things. So the security team is not needed. So that we can create a two roles, and we can assign accordingly with permission. So which services need to be accessed or which need to be.
Yeah, that's a scenario which you explain, and you get it pretty right. What is it? But let me explain you a very lame term on that. Thank you, Jayanti and Kanan. So over here, what rules basically do is in AWS, if suppose you have multiple services, right? You see that there are a lot of services, okay?
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.